Next from Newscenter 13, New York Senator Moynihan blasts the president's fiscal policies.
A Soviet emigre from Rochester and her son returned to the U.S.
And how scientists are learning from the Voyager discoveries.
Those stories and all the news next from Newscenter 13.
From WOKR Rochester, this is Newscenter 13 with Dick Burt, Don Alhart, meteorologist Bill Peterson, and Fred Gagot on sports.
Good evening. On the night before his annual State of the Union address, the president is taking some heat.
It's coming from New York Senator Daniel Moynihan. Tonight, Moynihan came down hard on President Reagan for the huge federal deficits and the record-breaking national debt. The senator was invited to Rochester to speak at a forum on religion and economics. Well, Moynihan spent most of his time on the economics, and his position was one that has been very familiar around Washington and the entire country. John Alston was there tonight, has a report.
One thing he does say is because he was a member of Congress, he too is implicated. So the shared responsibility. Daniel Patrick Moynihan has made no secret of his feelings towards supply-side economics. The effects, he says, will be devastating. Now, with a law requiring a balanced budget, Moynihan says tomorrow's State of the Union message should be vague and painless for the president.
The White House seems to be saying the president is going to give a brief speech on themes rather than particulars, and I think that's wise given some of the particulars that are coming up in this Congress.
Later in a speech at St. Paul's Episcopal Church, the silver-haired senior senator from New York did not stop his jabs at Reagan economic policy. He used words like failure and crisis to describe the 1981 tax cut that started it all.
The men of 1981 are, in my view, to be held accountable for profound irresponsibility. They were prepared to risk the stability of the national government on a theory of how it would respond to a crisis.
The result, he says, will be a recession before the end of the 80s and a national debt that triples. And the Gramm-Rudman balanced budget law will do nothing to help.
We have become a net debtor nation over the past 5 years, and soon will be the world's largest debtor nation. The largest debtor nation with a declining defense program is not likely to remain for long the symbol of successful government.
Moynihan's speech was supposed to center on the moral questions of a $2 trillion debt. He says he is worried about the effect on the present generation, but Moynihan said, if we can pass on a democratic government with freedoms intact, we shall be forgiven debt service. Don?
Thank you, John. A mother separated from her son for 7 years is on her way back to Rochester, a family again. Margaret Stukelin's son was finally allowed to leave the Soviet Union and was reunited with his mother in Vienna last week. Today, both arrived in New York, and among those to greet them, New York Senator Alphonse D'Amato.
We're pleased. Welcome to America. This is a success story that we have to see more of. This is a story of a mom who never lost heart, who kept fighting.
He always believed that we will be a family.
Mother and son flew to Boston to be reunited with Michaela's brother, and they'll head for Rochester sometime tomorrow.
3 inmates from the Livingston County Jail remain at large tonight and the object of a police manhunt. Sheriff's deputies in the area around